Welcome to Cowes, where the May Bank Holiday weekend sees the Etchells and the Laser SB3s having their South Coast Championships. We've also got the start of the JOG and RORC races, plus some great action from the Cowes Keelboat Solent series. A mystery object made an appearance at the Royal Yacht Squadron this weekend. Was it something out of CSI Miami? Well, we'll reveal the secret later in the programme. And among the many boats out on the Solent this weekend was Team Origin's new Extreme 40. Britain's America's Cup team has scaled back its operation while they wait for the outcome of the legal battle between the Swiss defenders Alinghi and the American team BMW Oracle Racing. But like Alinghi and Oracle, Team Origin has bought an Extreme 40 to race this summer. Alinghi hasn't confirmed whether they'll be racing in the iShares Cup in Cowes in August, but Oracle will be here, as will Team Origin, and the action will be well worth watching. JOG's race to Cherbourg had been postponed from late March, but it got underway on Friday night with a very light south-southwesterly and a very strong flood tide. Class 5 was first away as usual, with Alchemist sailing back on the tide from over the line before turning on the gun to cross the line ahead of the fleet. The flooding tide meant that the fleet faced a long, slow beat to the Needles before heading south on their channel crossing. It was a real struggle to make their way across Gurnard Bay on the paying port tack. Every time a boat tacked to starboard to try and get inshore, the tide swept them back to the east. Zarifa was to lead the 15-boat Class 5 fleet into Cherbourg, taking just over 13 hours for the 75-mile course, but on corrected time it was Alchemist which took the win. Zarifa was second, and Blustery Day was third. Electron took the double-handed prize. In the return race to Cowes, Zara took the win, ahead of Zarifa and Imperator.
Coming up to a minute and 10 seconds.
13 boats in Class 4 took the start, and they too faced a long, slow struggle to get to the west. Breakout took 6 minutes under 12 hours to complete the course, but they finished up second on handicap, behind Long Pierre, which finished 12 minutes later. Persephone of London was third. Long Pierre also won the return race, with Persephone of London grabbing second this time, with Breakout third. The Class 3 start saw 15 boats on the line. Even the extra sail area of these larger boats didn't help much, as they crawled across the line. Floating Boater was to lead this fleet into Cherbourg, taking 10.5 hours for the passage, but they dropped to 9th on corrected time. Minx was to win the class, with Arcsine taking second and J Fever in third. Floating Boater got her revenge by winning the return race, while Arcsine and J Fever again took second and third. The Royal Ocean Racing Club's Cervantes Trophy race to Le Havre got underway from the Royal Yacht Squadron's line on Saturday morning, with a downwind start to the west. IRC3 was first away at 8:30 with a 10-boat fleet. David Lees' Hefzeba was first home in Le Havre by over an hour, and also took the corrected time wind ahead of Clarionet and Seagrass. IRC2 went off 10 minutes later with 12 boats heading west. Noel Racine's Foggy Dew was first home and also took the corrected time honours. Excitable was second, with Jaguar of Burnham third. The 16 boats in the combined IRC 1, 0 and Super Zero fleets started at 8:50. Only Chernihiv 2 and John Merrick 2 competed in Super Zero, with Chernihiv taking the honours. Class 0 had only 3 boats, but John Shepherd's Fairdew 7 led them into Le Havre and took the corrected time honours from Erivale. These 2 boats also took second and third in the overall rankings. Class 1 had 11 boats, and this fleet was won by Philippe Delaporte's Penazen, which also took the overall handicap win. Puma Logic came second in Class 1, with British Soldier taking third. At the top of the programme, we mentioned the mystery object at the Royal Yacht Squadron. Well, it was later unveiled to reveal a new addition to the squadron's Haven rock wall, a bronze mermaid, which will greet sailors as they enter Cowes. We don't know if the squadron has given her a name, but perhaps you'd like to suggest one. 14 Etchells were entered for their South Coast Championship, which was sailed over Saturday and Sunday and run by the Royal London Yacht Club. 6 races were completed over the 2 days, in a breeze of between 8 and 11 knots from the southeast sector. Niels Razmilovic sailing Matter 2 dominated the first day with a second and 2 firsts. Niels' brother, Ante, sailing Swedish Blue, won the first race followed by 2 seconds, to make the first day a Razmilovic benefit. On the second day, Niels scored a 7th, 4th and 3rd, while Ante slipped even further. Lawrence Mead, who hadn't raced on Saturday, scored 2 firsts. But in the end, Niels Razmilovic held on to win by 5 points from Doug Flynn sailing Wobbegong, with Ante Razmilovic taking 3rd. "45 Laser SB3s contested their South Coast Championship over 3 days, with racing conducted by the Royal Corinthian Yacht Club. 3 races were held on Saturday and Sunday, with 2 on the final day. From the first gun, the racing was dominated by Craig Burleton's Carjacked. He won the first 2 races on Saturday with a 3rd in the final race of the day. Behind Carjacked, many of the usual suspects were fighting at the head of the fleet, with John Outhwaite's Baloo taking the 1 race but Carjacked let slip on day 1. Tim and Sue Fells were also putting in consistent top 10 results in Sean Beaver. On Sunday, Carjacked went 1 better, winning all 3 races to dominate the opposition in this competitive class. Burleton slipped to his worst result, a 6th, in the penultimate race on Monday, but was back to his winning ways in the final race to take the series by 29 points. Sean Beaver took 2nd overall, with David and Roger Hudson's City of Cape Town taking 3rd. Saturday's racing for the Cowes Keelboat Solent Series was to provide champagne sailing conditions for the 13 Darings which took the start on the Royal London Yacht Club's shoreline. The strong ebb tide and a start to the east meant that the fleet needed to short tack along the island shore to stay out of the tide. The fleet swapped places and tacks as they enjoyed the sunshine, breeze and tactical challenge of this first leg. Darius led around the first mark, followed by Finesse and Dynamite, both of which were to later retire. The race lasted nearly 2.5 hours and was won by Darius, with Division Bell 2nd and Audax 3rd. Sunday's race was won by Division Bell, ahead of Finesse and Daring 1. Racing on Monday was abandoned when the wind failed to make an appearance. Five Dragons took the start on Sunday, and they too enjoyed close tactical racing as they beat east from the start line. Chris Britton and Duncan Grindley's new boat, Norbert, took the honours ahead of Gabia Wilkinson Cox's Jerboa, with Owen and Josie Pay's Njord taking 3rd. These 3 took the same top places in Sunday's race, while Monday's racing was abandoned. The weekend brought the usual rich variety of boats out onto the water, but one of the prettiest and most unusual was the little paddle steamer Monarch. Join us next week for more action from the heart of sailing.